Hello everybody, this is Scott Sharp with Fretboard Toolbox, and today we're going to look at my Essential versus Complete second editions. Still, the number one question I get asked is what's the difference between the Essential and Complete books? So I'm going to show you the differences between the new Essential and Complete second edition books. Let's get started and I'll show you how it looks. So if you want to go to the Fretboard Toolbox website, you can go to pick your instrument, and the second editions, I've now got resonator guitar, which I'm super stoked to start learning with. Today I'm going to show you some stuff on the mandolin book, so you can just click on your instrument, and now I've got links for reading about the Essential versus Complete books. So if you click that, it'll take you to the video I'm showing right now, so I'll replace this video here, and it takes you to this table that gives you a little overview of what those books are. And also it talks about the print and ebook options because I still have ebook and interactive ebook and print versions for both essential and complete books. Now essential and complete books currently are the same price, and so it makes it confusing for folks because they're like, if there's an essential and a complete, why wouldn't I pay for the complete because that's got more information? So I'll show you today why you may think the essential is more useful for you. Often it is for me. So I'll show you both though and kind of show you what I did here. So if we look at the complete book here, here's a complete and essential side by side. The complete books still cover all the same keys, so 14 major keys, 14 blues keys, and 14 relative minor keys. And the essential books still cover the 5 most common major keys, which is the keys of G, A, C, D, and E major. And the essential books have a quick key decoder at the end that has this capo corner to teach you about how to play in any key that you want. Any of these keys I can play with using the keys of G, A, C, D, and E by capoing up in the right spot. And I'll put some videos out showing how that works. But that's one reason I can use the complete for any keys if I'm using a capo. Of course, I said I'm doing this for mandolin, and that would be sacrilegious for lots of you. So, but if I'm thinking about guitars, so, if we want to take a look closer at the complete edition first, let me stick these both here together. And then let's look at these guys side by side. So now we're looking at all the complete edition. And if I click on the key of G major, what you'll see is that I've got the key of G major and E minor on one page here. And then I've got the key of G blues on the other. And so I set these up so I could see all the major scale stuff on one side and all of the blues stuff on the facing page. And so I called this book the complete edition because my first book was called the original edition, which was like just these pages on the left here. And then I had a separate book called the blues book. And so I stuck those two books together. And when I have those two pages, when I stuck those two books side by side, it was like, oh, that really helps to be able to see the major and the blues all right next to each other. So a difference from the last edition, the last complete edition, is this thing is now called the chord and scale jig up here because these notes going across are not only the chords, the chord notes. This tells you which chord notes make up common chord types, but it's also the scales going across. So I can see major, major pentatonic, natural minor, and minor pentatonic over here too. So these boxes in white going across is the G major scale. The underlined ones going across is G major pentatonic. The ones going across here is the E natural minor, and then the underlined ones here are the E minor pentatonic. And so I want to be able to see what chords sound good together. What are the Roman numerals for those chords? So the chord numbers, if someone says this chord progression is a 1, 5, 1, then I can look and see G major's 1, D major's 5, G major's 1. In fact, that's a real common progression. And we've still got chord progression boxes here. These two are for the keys of G major. This one's for the key of E minor. And then down here, we've got all the G major and E natural minor scales in white boxes, the G major, E minor pentatonic underlined, and the flat 7 and flat 3 bluesy notes are in italics here. So that's all the major relative minor page. Then over here, I've got the blues page. And so all of these chords here are going to sound bluesy together. And this will tell you how to make the chords, and this will tell you some different scales and even the Mixolydian mode in here. So you can see what notes we're pulling from to get these different scales. Here's some bluesy chord progressions and blues rock kind of progressions. And then down here, now I've got the G minor pentatonic notes in white boxes. So the G minor is in white boxes here, and and then there's this blues note, this flat 5 note that's in italic. So I wanted to be able to see these things for all the different keys. I wanted to be able to just say, okay, I'm playing in the key of C. Okay, I need to know what chords sound good together. I want to know how to build the chords. I want to know some chord progressions. And then I want to know some soloing scales that would work with them. Or if I want to make those things bluesy, what do I need to do to make it bluesy? So that's the complete book in a nutshell. It's also got the standard notation jig that I had in the old book too, which is just a updated one. I also changed the font in here to make it a lot easier to read. My old one was in this Poor Richard font, and it was letters were super tiny, and now I've got it in a much cleaner Arial font, which people have been asking for 10 years now. So I'm happy to oblige finally. But that's the complete book. And then the essential book is the keys of G, A, C, D, and E. Now, why I find it so useful is these colored circles. So now I've got on these 2 effacing pages, this is going to be the 1 chord in green, the 4 chord in purple, and the 5 chord in orange. So that's G major, C major, D major. Okay, and then I've got the 2 chord, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord on the next 2 pages. And so I wanted to be able to see my 1, 4, 5 chords all together, and I wanted to be able to see my 2, 3, 6s all together. And something brand new on this second edition is now, this is the big thing, and I'll put out some videos on this because it's so impactful for me. But now what I've learned is to get some of the bluegrassy country kind of sounds that I've been after for so long, I need to know the flat 3rd and flat 7 for the G chord when I'm playing a G. Then I need to know the flat 3rd and flat 7 for the C chord. Okay, so now I'm showing the flat 3rd and flat 7 just for the C chord here in italics. And then I need to know the flat 3rd and the flat 7 for the D chord. And so if that doesn't make sense now, I'll make it make sense later, hopefully. But then for the minor chords, what I wanted to be able to see is what makes the thing a minor versus major. And so it's this flat 3rd versus a 3rd note. So A minors are made of the notes A minor is A, C, E, and A major is A, C sharp, E. So what I did on these pages for the second edition is I showed, if I use a C here, it's an A minor. If I use a C sharp, it's an A major. Because lots of times in chord progressions, you'll see the 2 chord is played as a major chord, or the 3 chord is sometimes played as a major chord, or the 6 chord can be played as a major chord. And now I can see, like, to turn a B minor into B major, I need to change a D to a D sharp. And so now I've got this D and D sharp here. And then same thing for the E minor, turning it into E major is going to be changing a G note into G sharp. And so I spend a ton of time with my essential books because I want to see how the scales lay over the chords, or the chord notes lay over the scales. And the chord notes are in the green boxes here, or the purple or the orange, and then the scales are all in the white boxes and underlined and things like that. So just being able to see how kind of it all fits together is the real helpful part for me. So if you would like to check out Fretboard Toolboxes, you can just go to the website, and if you go down to Look Inside and click Look Inside, you can download all the instructions for any of my books for free, and the Key of G Major pages all for free. So you can read through everything and see if you find it useful and play around with it in the key of G, and if it's something you like, you can pick it up, and if it's not something you like, then you're not out any money. So Again, the big question is essential versus complete, and I can't tell you. There's no blanket answer for which is more useful for you. If you want to be able to play, like if you play regularly in all the different keys, and you don't have a problem seeing where the chord notes are, like the notes that make up the chord, and how those lay out, then probably the complete's better for you. If you're a visual person like me and you like to see, you like the color really helps things pop out for you, then probably the essential you'd get more out of. So I appreciate you taking a look today, and this is my first Fretboard Fridays. I'm going to be putting out a video every Friday, and we're going to have lots more videos coming on lots more instruments. So hope you found something useful, and we'll see you next time.